Hello guys, welcome to Envision Academy. In this video, I'll be sharing a story of Munshi Premchand. Big Brother. My brother was 5 years older than me, but only 3 classes ahead. He started studying at the age as I did, but he didn't want to hurry in an important matter such as education. He wanted to build on a strong foundation, so he took 2 years to do what could be done in 1 year. If the foundation was not strong, how a building could be built to last? I was younger. I was 9. He was 14. To check me and keep an eye on me was his birthright, and decency said that I must follow his command as if it was the law. He was studious by nature. He always sat with an open book in front of him, sometimes to rest his brain. He would draw pictures of birds, dogs, or cats on the margins of his books and notebooks. Sometimes he would write the same name or word or sentence over and over again. Sometimes he would write things that had neither meaning nor sense. I tried my best to keep sense of his riddles, but I couldn't. I didn't have the courage to ask him. How could I dare to make sense of his writings? I was not at all interested in studying. Sitting with a book for even 1 hour made me restless. The first chance I got, I would run away from the hostel and go to the playground and sometimes play with marbles, sometimes fly paper butterflies, and my day would be made if a friend showed up. We would climb up on the roof and take turns jumping off or swing on the gate and pretend it was a motor car. But the moment I entered the room and saw Big Brother or Big B's angry face, I would get scared to death. His first question would be, "Where were you?" The question was always asked in the same tone, and my answer was always silence. I don't know why I could never say I had gone out to play. My silence would say that I accept my crime, and Big B would have no other option but to greet me with the following words that showed both his love and anger. If you continue to study English like this, you can go on trying for the rest of your life and you will still won't learn one word. Studying the English language is not a joke. Everyone can't master it, or else every Tom, Dick, and Harry would be a master of English. You have to toil day and night to learn it, and you can never fully learn it either. All sorts of learned men can't actually write, let alone speak in English. And you were such an idiot that you don't learn from my example? You can see for yourself how hard I work, and if you can't see, you are blind and stupid. Every day there is a play or a festival. Have you ever seen me go for even one of them? Every day there is a hockey or cricket match. I never go anywhere near them. I am always studying, yet I end up studying in the same class for 2 years, sometimes even 3 years. Then how do you expect to pass despite wasting all your time in fun and games? Do you want to spend the rest of your life in the same class? If this is the way you want to waste your life, you might as well go home. Why are you wasting our poor father's hard-earned money? I would listen to this lecture and start crying. I had no answers. I was guilty as charged. Big B was an old hand at giving lectures. He could say such hard-hitting things, aim such berber arrows that my heart would break into pieces and my confidence would shatter. Yet I didn't have the strength for such do-or-die labor. At such times of despair, I would think maybe it is best to go back home. Why should I take on something that is beyond my abilities and destroy my life? I am willing to stay illiterate. In an hour or two, the clouds of despair would part and I would decide to study hard. I would make a timetable. After all, how could I begin work without first drawing up a scheme or a plan? There was no room for games and sports in this timetable. According to this plan, I would get up at 6 a.m., eat my breakfast, and sit down to study. From 6 to 8 it was English, 8 to 9 maths, 9 to 9:30 history, then eat my midday meal and go off to school. I'd return from school at 3:30, rest for half an hour, and start studying again. But it is one thing to make a timetable, another to follow it. I would break the rules from the very first day. The greenery of the sports field, the sweet breeze that blew there, the joy of running after the football, the pick and throw of kabaddi, the speed and sureness of volleyball, all this would pull me in strange and unknown ways. Once on the sports fields, I would forget everything else. That murderous timetable, those books that would blind me one day, I would remember nothing. And Bigby would get yet another occasion to give his lecture. I began to run from the very sight of him. I would try my best to stay away from his all seeing eyes. I would enter the room on tiptoe. At least he spotted me. The moment he looked in my direction, I could feel my life ebbing out of me. I constantly felt as though a sword dangled above my head. But my interest in fun and games remained unabated despite the scoldings and insults. The yearly exams took place. Bigby failed. I not only passed but also stood first in my class. There was not only a difference of 2 classes between him and me, there was a lot I wanted to tell Bigby. What happened to all your hard work? Look at me. I had a lot of fun playing, and yet I have stood first in my class. But he was so sad that I felt truly sorry for him, and the thought of sprinkling salt on his wound seemed a shameful thing to do. My self confidence, however, grew, as did my pride. And with the big bees all listened, I began to take part in fun and games with a greater sense of freedom. I had decided if he ever tries to give a lecture, I shall tell him what I think. It was clear from my behavior that Bigby's days of tyrannical rule over me was a thing of the past. Bigby sensed it. He was quite clever in these simple matters. One day, when after playing gulli danda all morning, I was returning home in time for my meal, Bigby was ready and waiting to attack. He pounced on me. I can see that passing this year and coming first in your class has gone to your head. But my dear brother, remember that many great men have lost their pride. You are nothing in comparison to them. You must have read about Ravan's fate. What have you learned from reading about him? Or did you just read without understanding? Simply passing in history is not enough. You must understand whatever you read. Ravan ruled over a large empire. Such kings are called Chakravarti kings or supreme rulers. Yet, what was Ravan's end? Pride caused him to fall. In the end, there was no one with him. A man may do any wrong, but he must not be proud. The day you become proud, your days are numbered. You have merely passed one class and it has gone to your head. Remember, you have not passed because of hard work. It is simply good luck. A matter of chance, but it won't happen every time. Don't go by the fact that I have failed. When you come to my class, you will know how tough it is. When you have to read algebra and geometry, the history of England, and remember the names of the kings, all eight Henrys, etc. And geometry, only God can save you from it. If instead of a ABC you write ACB, end up losing all your marks. No one ever asks these cruel examiners what is the difference between ABC and ACB. Why do they kill innocent students over pointless, silly things? Whether you eat rice, dal and roti or dal, rice and roti, what is the difference? But do these examiners care? They want students to memorize every word that is written in the textbooks. And this learning by rote they have called education. Fortunately, it was time to go to school, or no one knows when the lecture would have ended. My meal seemed tasteless. If I am insulted like this after passing, I wondered what would be my fate if I failed. The yearly examinations came around. Once again, it so happened that I passed once again and Bigby failed yet again. I hadn't worked very hard, but I don't know how I stood first in my class. I myself was amazed. Bigby had tried his level best. He had memorized every word of the syllabus. He would study till 10 in the night and then again from 4 in the morning and from 6 till 9 before leaving for school. Yet he failed. I pitied him. When the results were announced, he burst into tears. My own joy was dimmed. If I had failed too, Bigby would have been less unhappy. But who can undo the doings of fate? Thank you.